I mean, I think I'm usually the mid laner that does the best out of every mid laner that goes to Worlds, from NA, of course.
I'm joined by Jensen after securing sole first place by beating Dignitas. Jensen, you were 9-0 on Tristana, but the early game didn't go too well, at least in the bot lane. Your bot lane kept dying. Does that put a lot of additional stress on you in game because you're like, okay, my bot lane is like, not having a good game. Now I have to play extra well to carry?
To be honest, I don't really think about it too much. The devs didn't matter too much, since if you die in the early game, it's usually not that big of a deal unless you like end up getting dove and losing like multiple big waves. But the devs mattered a little bit, but to be honest, it never really felt like we were super far behind in the game. I did feel like we had to be a bit more creative. Like if we would straight up 5v5, we would probably lose. So we had to look for like some creative angles and try to pick people off and kind of wait for their mistake. And they ended up making some big mistakes. So that's kind of like why we were able to come back in the game. But to be honest, like we didn't fall that far behind for me to like really feel like, oh, like we have to do something like super crazy to win, but kind of just have to play a bit smarter than them, and that's kind of just what ended up happening.
All right, and after the game, Empire, he tweeted that you guys knew about Jensen's Ori and his, what did he say, Syndra, I think, or Azir. You knew about Jensen's Azir and Ori, but did you know about his Tristana? Is there... I know Bippo is like a very creative player. Are you also like, do you have picks that you just like cook with, or do you prefer a certain play style?
I mean, I love cooking. Like in the past, like play Anivia and something like that. Like special cases, there is definitely room for unique picks. Although Tristana is like not that unique, it's a pretty meta pick. It's getting picked up more and more, I think. But it's a champion I'm comfortable with, and it kind of fits my style. So that one, it's kind of chill. But usually for me, I just play what's comfortable to me, and that usually ends up working out.
All right, and we just finished, halfway through the split. We're 7 games done. You guys secured sole first place. Your only loss was to NRG. And, we've seen a little bit of back and forth between you guys and NRG. You guys said that, their win was just a fluke, like don't expect much from them. And then they went on, beat you, and they're like, oh, maybe that was a fluke too. Do you feel like there's additional pressure or stakes when you guys play NRG?
From my perspective, not really. But maybe that's just because I've played LCS for so long. I don't feel like any additional pressure or anything. I mean, I definitely feel like it's a team we need to beat now because we lost to them. So I definitely want to beat them in the next round robin. But, to me, it's just another team, and I think we can beat them. We just, they got the better of us last time we faced against them, and, props to them. They played well. But to me, no, just another team.
All right. I was asking Palafox why he felt that a lot of times our teams go internationally, they don't really improve, they don't learn much. And he said, well, because a lot of players don't like strive to, when they go internationally, they kind of just crumble under the pressure. They just don't think that they can beat these Eastern players. They don't really push themselves. And he said, like, APA, for example, is someone who I think got a lot from and was able to learn when he went internationally. And he was like, I hope we don't send Jensen because I don't think he's the type of person that will learn. Do you agree with that sentiment? I asked people on my YouTube, and over 75% of the people were like, yeah, I think what Palafox said is true.
No, I mean, I don't think I go there and go on vacation. I think I, try to take things away, of course, but I think it's kind of fair to maybe like people to think that way because I'm older and I've been to international many times. But I mean, I think I'm usually the mid laner that does the best out of every mid laner that goes to Worlds, from NA, of course. I think I'm always the one that holds my ground the best out of anyone. So I mean that's a bit strange to me, but I mean that's his opinion, I guess. Yeah.
All right. It does seem like community sentiment around you has changed over the past couple of years. In 2022, when Peter Dunn was on EG, there was this whole rumor of you and Doublelift joining EG. Or the other option was Jojo Pyun and Danny joining EG. And I think the vast majority of the community wanted you and Doublelift. this year during the offseason, when FlyQuest had rumors of different mid laners, your name was thrown up, and on the subreddit, a lot of people were like, "Oh no, not Jensen again." That surprised me because you've been sort of one of our most precious imports. Why do you feel like community sentiment has changed about you so much in just like the span of 2 years?
I mean, the way I think about it is I'm obviously like one of the older LCS players, if not the oldest. I don't know. And I feel like if I don't produce really good results, people are just gonna want to see younger players, newer hype players take our place, right? I think that's kind of natural to think that way. Like, you get tired of seeing the same. Maybe you get tired of seeing the same old players over and over again, unless they're like able to achieve greatness, like Faker, for example. Like, if someone like him didn't have good results or played really well, like maybe people would think the same way about him. Although he's obviously like a bit more of a legendary player, right? But I do think if you're an older player, you can't produce results. Like, people just want to see someone new take their place, whether it's justified or not, I guess, or they don't think too much about it. And maybe people have the perception that I'm washed because I had a bad last year, and I've been playing for a long time, so they want to see a new face. Makes sense, I guess. I mean, that's the way I think about it, at least, but I could be wrong.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching that interview. You'll notice this week I didn't use the word like 5,000 times a sentence, which I'm happy about. The interviews I did were pretty good. I'm happy with the answers that I got. If you haven't subscribed yet, why not? What are you waiting for? Just do it. Just subscribe.